morning, everybody. It is May 11th. This is Prime Nation Live. I'm Sydney Roberts.
I'm Tyler Wood.
I'm Jack Nelson.
I'm Gerard Fortune.
I'm Tanner Methvin.
And we got Cameron sitting on the couch doing some work for us. He might be weighing in throughout the day. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into some On This Day. Chronologically, in 1812, the waltz was introduced, and at the time, several observers reported it being disgusting and immoral.
It
You're
is.
gonna go dance up close with that boy over there. No daughter of mine's
Not
gonna
even
do
up
that.
close. They were touching each other. How dare they?
Look at this
touching?
image.
A very accurate representation of the elite in England, Jack.
You whore.
Are you playing Paper I.O. as we speak?
As soon as I die, I'm done. As soon as I die.
That is a lie. I was in an arcade with this man. He kept saying it like, this is the last one. He spent $5 on a game machine.
I won 500 tickets the other day.
You are so lucky
No,
you
no,
don't
you
have a
didn't.
gambling
This,
addiction.
yeah, I'm saying, like, this is the beginning of a gambling addiction, and you're just chastising me for playing a game. You should be getting me help.
We should go to horse races together.
Oh, man.
I'll kill a horse if I don't.
That's what you get. It's interesting you bring up horse races, though, because a lot of, I guess because of the Kentucky Derby, a lot of things on this day were various records that were broken by jockeys and horses and stuff like that.
Oh.
Did you see that that horse that makes like $300,000 a day just to breed with it
What?
because it was the champion for years?
You tell-
so you
Who's breeding with this horse?
Me? I'll pay
Other-
that horse $3,000.
This is
What
a
was
very
it,
expensive
Mr.
escort.
Hands?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Did you just throw a zoo reference on
Let's
you
just
sick man.
skate right by that one.
Sick. Going back to that waltz thing, who would be the Kevin Bacon in that? that
What?
Footloose.
Sir Francis Bacon.
Society.
Yeah.
Footloose recreation of them allowing waltz.
Probably Sir
Into-
Francis Bacon. That's a
Word.
pretty good one, yeah.
Word, yeah.
Madam, do you mind if I press my pelvis up against yours?
We're not making bacon. Get away from me.
Has anyone here ever done a waltz?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. I guess
Done
I'm
a
the only one
Watusi.
then. Great.
I mean, a waltz is where you're holding hands out and then.
That's already too
Box
far
step.
from
1,
me.
2, 3,
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
Okay,
box
yeah,
step,
yeah.
yeah.
I've done it playing around. I've never done a legitimate waltz.
Is
though.
that the hand one? What's that? What's that
you,
one?
Yes.
You have your hands
Yeah.
positioned a certain way, and it's
Is it a
just,
90-degree
it's
angle
stepping
though,
in
or is it where you're
It's
holding
kinda
them
like a
more
it's kinda
out like a?
I think when you're leading, like you're cupping their hands
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And
Okay.
it's just
Oh well, that explains why it was disgusting and immoral.
Yeah.
It's just-
Cups. They're
it's
gross.
not-
Is it cucks?
When was the twist invented? That's what I want.
I want to say in the 50s.
What
50s,
in Chubby Checker? He's been around for forever, right?
Mhm.
Like
Let's see.
he's a timeless.
Yeah.
Do the twist.
Wait,
Yeah.
what year did we say this was?
1960. 1812 was the waltz.
1812, and then what did we get the Charleston in like 1920?
Yeah, around
-ish.
then.
And then
Yeah,
So-
which was way more scandalous. Showing skin even.
Mm.
Yeah.
Chubby Checker was so good that
Ankles,
my
boy.
grandparents like him, and he's black.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful
I
thing.
bet your
Tyler.
your grandparents would probably say he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, he is. He was one of the good ones.
Can
You
you
know?
do the twist?
So in 1812, apparently the waltz was the first dance that made it to prominence where people actually touched each other. Before then, you were just in close proximity. So that's where the scandal came in, because you were actually touching each other. I guess
Without gloves.
Yeah, I guess touching each other's skin and even like the small of a lady's back was pretty scandalous to touch
Well,
back then.
you know, back in the day, you caught diseases like from everything. I think it was
Exactly.
just a measure,
Especially
to not,
women.
Oh
More of
yeah,
a hygiene issue
they're
back
just
then.
infected. Have you ever seen a woman?
I
I've seen.
get gonorrhea just looking at him.
I've
you
seen.
know?
Yeah, you do, don't you, Jack?
Who was the first guy to like slowly just run his hand down like the low, like just
Yeah,
like in the middle of a waltz?
exactly. But who was the first girl who allowed it?
Oh.
That's what I really
Can you
wanna know.
imagine just going back to Victorian England and just showing them daggering?
Dude, we talked about
One,
What are these Moors doing?
Just pull up with like a 20-foot like ladder.
Yeah,
that
well-
just hop off of like.
If you even did like a flash mob back then, they'd probably think it was witchcraft. Like if you
Exactly.
got a bunch of people doing even like the Superman. Or
How do they
something
have
like that,
rhythm? Oh my gosh!
Exactly.
No music.
I mean,
if
you
you
were
started
saying-
doing a flash mob, they would think that's like a race riot or something happening.
Well, back in those days, it probably turned into one pretty quick.
And also, like you were saying, you know, who was the first to did it? We talked about Ben Franklin yesterday. That's probably how he caught all those STDs. He was the first to touch.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, Ben Franklin probably waltzed.
The first human to touch another human.
Mm.
Benjamin
He-
Franklin.
He was.
Library, firehouse, touching.
How many fetishes do you
Electricity.
think Ben Franklin invented?
Okay, how did
so
How many hands are we counting on?
All the ones
Mr.
you have.
Hands.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this is 1 through 5. How many fetishes did Benjamin Franklin invent? I'm gonna go with at least 8
At
Yeah.
least 8.
At
I think the
least
better
8.
question is how many did Edison steal and try to patent himself?
Yeah.
Those-
you know
those were-
Edison didn't steal from Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin would beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Were
Also,
they alive
those-
at the
How
same
many
time?
No,
did Tesla just try to
Tesla-
give to the people?
Yeah.
Cindy, you're talking about a difference of at least 100 years.
That's how badass. I hope we say. That's how awesome Benjamin Franklin was. That he would travel 110 years, kill someone, and then travel back, and
Exactly.
keep their skeleton in his basement.
Tesla was just like, and you hook these up to the nipple right here, and look at the alternating currents run through the body.
Have
you
you
like
guys-
it, don't you?
You've seen the Prestige is on Netflix now.
Oh, I haven't watched that in forever.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I'd only watched it once, like when it first came out, and I rewatched it. It's pretty slow, but it holds
Yeah.
up. It's. I didn't realize when I watched it that David Bowie plays Tesla.
He plays. Yeah, and look at all these hats. That's all I remember
Yeah.
from that movie is look at all these hats.
Yeah, and he's like, "Which hat is mine? They're all yours." Dun,
So-
dun, dun, dun.
So we know Benjamin Franklin was a big baller. What did he tip the hookers with? $100 bills weren't invented yet.
No, in fact, back then,
he
paper
didn't
money
tip.
wasn't even
He
really.
probably-
a
He
thing.
gave him skeleton keys that he used.
Well, he probably
work
made a
out.
bunch of keys, and he told every single one of them. He was like, "Yeah, baby, this is the key that helped me discover electricity."
Yeah.
You know what?
And
He
he
probably
gave him passes to the Illuminati. He was like, "You can come join me here in my secret sex cave."
He probably
Yeah.
let
Let
them
you-
sign the Declaration of Independence,
I'll let
and
you
that's why
Or the
they're.
firehouse.
John Hancock's not a real person. John Hancock's a stage name.
Did he sign that with his pecker?
Well, it's just every woman that Ben Franklin slept with and got a disease from added a letter.
Yeah, it's
Ah.
Lexington Steele,
Oh,
Wesley
man.
Pipes, and John Hancock. Those are
Brian
the top
Pumper?
three. Yeah. Mandingo, John Hancock.
Oh, God.
James Dean.
Well, man, yeah, we were right. We did glean quite a bit out of the waltz. So
Oh,
let's move on to
man.
our next event on this day, May
That's
11th.
what happens when you touch somebody.
In 1969, Monty Python officially formed on May 11th. So I was just looking it up. Apparently, all 6 members had worked together in various ways since 1964, but they formed the actual improv troupe Monty Python in 1969, and that same year, Flying Circus got picked up for TV.
You know something? I'm seeing a lot of parallels between Monty Python and us at Prime Nation Live.
Very true.
How?
I'm gonna have Alzheimer's hit me in a couple weeks.
How?
I called
Tanner?
John Cleese.
Because we all did stuff and we all knew each other, and then we were all brought together for Prime Nation Live, and it's going to become the
It's-
biggest comedy
If we
troupe.
make
gonna get picked up in
anything
about a year.
that is a tenth as good as the meaning of life, I'll die. I'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Although I gotta say, Flying Circus was pretty groundbreaking at the time, and unfortunately, internet radio shows are a
We're the
dime a
first one in
dozen these
VR.
days.
Mm.
True.
We're
true.
the
First in
Monty
VR.
Python of VR.
And I'll go with that. I like that.
the Monty Python of VR.
Oh, didn't Bob Marley die today?
What?
Check that out.
Let me check
Google
that.
that.
Bob
Yeah.
Marley.
He died on this date in, I want to say, 90,
I thought he
92.
died on
Oh,
May
420.
11th.
Wait.
Yep.
81.
Oh wow,
Very nice.
Well, you know what though? A couple years later, someone was born on this day.
Wajamin.
No, Tyler.
Yeah, I know.
Gotcha. It is indeed Tyler Wood's birthday.
All right, let's bring in the cake, everybody.
Yeah,
bring it
come
on in
Come
here.
on, Ben, you can
Did you
come
say
up
cup?
now.
Bill,
Did
you
you say
agreed
bring in the
to.
cup?
Yeah.
I want to start a
Yes.
cake business called Cupcakes.
Who's got my birthday cuck?
Well, we're already okay. So that's 3 now at the ticker.
I've said cuck at least 6 times.
I don't know. I've been counting.
I've
We'll
slipped
go
in
back and
a-
listen to it.
I've
but-
slipped in a few small cucks here and there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Y'all all
Jamming
sick,
my
sick people.
body into the ground.
Wow, I'm offended, sir. Very triggered by
I think I
that.
also share a birthday with Billy Kidman.
Billy Kidman.
Oh yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
look at the birthdays.
He's
yeah,
a-
let's look up
Kidman.
birthdays.
He's a
No,
WCW cruiserweight.
I looked at birthdays. The only one really of note was Corey Monteith, the Glee star who overdosed in 2013.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. yeah.
When was he
I'm
born?
seeing
glum.
I'm seeing Jessica Alba.
What?
Jessica Alba.
Why
I'm
was that
seeing-
not on?
That's
this?
not
seeing
true.
I'm seeing Jay Leno. I don't know. I typed in famous birthdays today. And Google's giving me Salvador Dali.
Hmm.
What?
Her birthday today. Yeah, happy
Tyler.
birthday, Salvador Dali.
Tyler, you got some good company on this.
Yo, you
Ace
share a
Hood?
birthday
Oh.
with Ace Hood, son?
I actually want to point out that if I have just a sec, I want to point out it's my brother's birthday. My brother Kirby.
Nobody cares.
And okay, thanks.
Jeez.
Silly Gerard's just mean.
Yes.
So Corey Monteith was born in 1982, a year to the day after Bob Marley's death.
Did your-
Coincidence?
Did your
Yeah, I think
parents
so.
mean to name him after the character, or
No, so my parents didn't think the name Kirby belonged to anything, because first people would bring up the vacuum cleaner, because that was big back in the day. Now they bring up the video game character.
There's a Kirby vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a Kirby
Those
vacuum
things are
cleaner.
expensive.
Yeah, and
his brother
so
sucks like
They're
a Kirby?
still around?
mhm. I don't know if they're still around,
Yeah, I
but
only know.
No, they are.
yeah, my
They
brother,
are.
my brother's name is Kirby,
Huh.
which I think is a pretty sick name, but I don't know if he likes it all that
It's no
much.
Tanner.
It's not, man. It's really not.
I mean, it's no Waluigi.
I was named after a soap
Right.
opera, so there's
It's no
that.
Meta Knight.
What
What,
soap opera?
I don't know, but my mom's like, yeah, there was this character I really liked in a soap opera named Tanner, and that's where your name comes from. I'm like, cool, thanks.
Oh,
What's
man.
your sister's name?
Chelsea.
That's the most. That's all right. She named after the English thing, or
No, the Clinton.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
All right,
man.
get her
cool.
to call in. Tell us about it.
You
Yeah.
share a birthday with Tim Blake
Chelsea
Nelson.
listens to this
Who
show
is
half the
that?
time. Chelsea, if you want to call in with some name
He's the
facts.
slow fellow
So,
and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Your sister's a teacher. How does she listen to the show?
She's not a good teacher.
She's a great teacher.
What does she teach? ISS?
She teaches special ed kids, and she listens to the show like right before we go on, and then she checks it out later.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you, Chelsea.
We do indeed
Mhm.
appreciate it, Chelsea. Yeah, feel free to call in anytime you have the chance. So I'm not seeing Jessica Alba or any of those on this day.
That
needs
might have been
to-
May 10th.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
either
and
way,
they hadn't updated.
if not, on this day needs to step up their birthday.
Yeah,
aggregate.
according to On
Get
This
it
Day, no
together.
one of significance was born after 1989 on this day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Give-
Salvador Dali's pretty big.
And I happen to agree with that.
Give me a
sentiment.
couple years. I got some murders planned. I'll be on there.
All right, well, that about covers it for on this
Peter
day.
North was born on this day, and that's
Oh,
the biggest
God.
one. at
Is he a
all.
director?
Jesus. I'm sure he's done
he's
some
directed
directing.
some things.
Oh,
and
the
some
performer.
Yes, he's a big
Oh.
performer.
Okay.
He has a large piece.
I didn't want to assume what
Oh.
y'all was talking about, but yeah,
Oh,
I've seen his name
Peter.
pop up before.
Okay.
Man, I was at least hoping there would be like some historical person I could rub it in your faces that I knew and you don't, but there's not even any of that.
Peter North could rub
Wow.
something in your face, Dan.
Yeah, I figured Jack would be the first to jump on that one.
Just give him a minute or two.
Does no one care about Billy Kidman?
Who the hell is
I
that?
don't know.
He's
yeah.
a WCW cruiserweight.
I
No.
don't know who that
No.
is.
Woman Crush Wednesday.
No, World Championship Wrestling.
Ha! Millennial joke.
All right, so we'll move on to pop culture. This is the first time this week, I think, that on this day we didn't go off into too many tangents, so we're actually getting around to pop culture in the first segment
We only talked about the things we had written down.
for 12 whole minutes. So, first order of business in pop culture is all this stuff that's coming out about Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
So what exactly is coming on about Johnny
He's from
Depp?
Kentucky,
A
turns
lot.
out.
So not only has his financial situation been brought to light because there's all kinds of shenanigans going on there, but also there's reports from the Pirates 5 set that he was chronically late, quote unquote, to the point where they had hundreds of extras just waiting for hours for Johnny Depp to show up. They even had to position a production assistant outside of his house, like in a hidden unmarked car, unbeknownst to Johnny Depp, and he would call the production whenever his lights were on to let him know, yeah, he's finally up and getting ready.
Yeah, that was the thing about the story where I'm like, you have got to be freaking kidding me. And he's a big name though. Like for them, they decided this was a worthwhile investment to do this
Yeah.
because he's
No,
that big of a name. And
It's not.
They're making another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and it comes out in a couple weeks, and I didn't know about it until maybe a couple days ago.
And they say the final adventure until they make the next one.
Who-
Until Johnny
how
Depp
many
needs more
Resident
money.
Evil
cares?
finales have we had?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure the third one was supposed to be the final
Yeah.
one, and then
Yeah.
Johnny Depp needed more money, so the fourth one was supposed to be the final one, and now Johnny Depp
They-
needs more money, so the
It
fifth
even
one.
says in
Oh,
this
I'm
article
paying.
they have a code term. They say the eagle has landed when
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is awake and showering.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean,
He also says that when he's washing himself. Ooh,
And,
the eagle
apparently,
has landed.
Jerry
Ooh.
Bruckheimer, Johnny Depp just finished filming Murder on the Orient Express. So apparently Jerry Bruckheimer said that this was just a phase Johnny Depp went
we
through.
don't use Orient. As
Apparently it was just a phase he went through that they're attributing to the divorce and all that, because according to Jerry Bruckheimer, at least, he was on time to set every day for filming the murder.
I will say that I have heard allegedly that Johnny Depp has a methamphetamine habit, allegedly. And I
Well-
can't imagine that would allegedly have anything to do with him showing up late to shooting on a movie where he plays Keith Richards dressed up as a pirate trying to finger blast Orlando Bloom or
Yeah, he's
whatever
gotta
those
get into
movies are
character,
about.
yeah.
Well, he'd get there early if he was on methamphetamines, wouldn't he? You'd think.
You'd
Well,
think,
Nah.
but
You
what's
take
early?
it and then you realize I have 100 things to do right now.
Well,
and
I don't imagine he's probably doing the alleged methamphetamines late at night, and then that's making him sleep later.
And he's just punching a pillow, pretending it's Amber Heard.
Yeah, throwing wine bottles at him.
Speaking of, because I just found this. So he had to sell one of his yachts.
Oh, poor guy.
I know, right? And I've got a picture of it.
All right, guys.
If you had to guess,
let's start a GoFundMe.
It's called the Black Pearl.
That would be pretty amazing. But if you had to guess who owns the yacht now, and I'll give you a hint, it's an author.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh wait, hold on.
This is a common known author.
J.K. Rowling?
Yes.
Oh, really?
J.K. Rowling now owns that
That's
yacht.
the only one I know that's alive.
That's why I basically said it's an author.
Oh,
Who's
God.
the one author we all know?
Can you imagine what
say
that
Stephen
yacht
King.
smelled like before she got it?
Oh.
I just imagine. I can't
Well,
imagine Johnny Depp smells good at
He
all.
paid $350,000 a month for maintenance on the yacht.
Yeah, so
just maintenance.
just to go over some
So
of like,
hopefully
the
it smells
crazier, just to go over some of the crazier like financial situations. Yeah, $300,000 a month or $350,000 a month for that. $3 million annually for a 40-person staff to just attend to him all the time. He spent what looks like almost $1 million on 3 Leonor Fini paintings out of impulse, and $30,000 for wine a month. And he's got like 5 houses, another yacht, and he's worried about going bankrupt. Does anyone really feel anything?
Dude, that's Mordecai money right there, baby.
He
you know?
Like, he literally will get $40 million for, like, what was the last Tim Burton thing he did?
I have a picture, Lone Ranger.
That's not Tim Burton. That's Gore Verbinski.
Oh, right.
But no,
excuse me.
the
I
last
just like
Tim Burton thing that Johnny Depp did, he got $40 million for.
I just like reminding
He's
everyone
in-
that he was in the Lone Ranger and he looked like this.
Was it No, it wasn't. It wasn't the one.
Was
that's
it
like
like
the
a while
X-Men.
ago?
Yeah, it was.
Sweeney Todd?
2
No,
years ago,
no.
maybe.
Not Dark Shadows.
I think it was. No, maybe it was
Frankenweenie?
No, maybe it was Dark Shadows. That
Yeah,
he got,
it's
yeah.
like
I'm looking
40
actually,
million
It
for.
looks like it's been a while since he did anything with Tim Burton. Actually,
Yeah, I'm
Isn't
pretty
that
sure.
crazy?
I'm pretty sure it was Dark Shadows. He got $40 million.
Oh, was it Alice Through the Looking Glass?
I think that was it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tim Burton
yeah.
produced that.
Okay, yeah.
I
Dude,
tried
that
to watch
movie
some of
made
that. It was
no
not
money.
good. Yeah.
That movie made no.
It's on
was
Netflix.
Who was asking for that movie?
Nobody. Look at this. I mean,
the viewer can't, so you'll have to describe.
well, no, I'm just reading. It barely. It didn't even make double its budget, which means that it lost money because like its shooting budget was $170 million and it didn't even clear $300 million worldwide over an entire theatrical release, which is really bad for a studio like that. That's
God.
insane.
Wait, you said it didn't double it, so it lost money?
Yeah, like in order for those, like that's $170 million to shoot the movie. That doesn't include the millions of dollars they put into marketing worldwide for it.
So they didn't even break even.
Well, they
Yeah,
didn't
they
put
did-
that
yeah,
much money
yeah.
into marketing this because nobody saw anything.
Yeah, but you have to think worldwide marketing. They marketed the hell out of that movie. They
That much, though?
legitimately did. Yeah, they would put They sunk millions of dollars
Like
into
double
that
the
thing.
budget?
Huh?
Like double the budget?
I don't know about double the budget, but I'm saying that they didn't make
Tanner,
their money
get
back.
Johnny on the phone. We got some questions here
I'm-
about some money. that's
Again,
gone
I'm looking
missing.
at the article and I'm just still baffled by some of the things he's spending money on and just how crazy he is. I mean, do people like him that much
$10,000
these
on
days?
rings a day? That's crazy.
Also, I did not know he was in his 50s. That
Well, you
blew me
got to
away.
think, if he's spending $30,000 on wine a month, how much was that bottle that he threw at Amber Heard? God, that had to have been like $1,200.
It's just a box of wine.
Priceless. Does
But-
nobody care that he's from Kentucky? That's amazing to me. That he's like one of the most prolific.
Well, no, because he
actors of the
started
time.
off as like totally like opposite of what he,
He was
is
a
now.
character actor.
Well, he
Like,
started off being like kind of gruff and you know
Okay.
a good actor that
21
tried
Jump
things.
Street.
yeah, like 21 Jump Street.
Nightmare on
He
Elm
didn't have
Street.
this like polished sort of look about him.
But
Like,
he's so well spoken for being from Kentucky.
well, after
he's one of the good
30
ones.
years in the entertainment
That
business.
doesn't,
But,
I'm
like,
trying to fathom-
really work with white people.
well, yeah, like
when
in
they're from
21 Jump
Kentucky,
Street
it
and stuff
is.
like that. I feel
Yeah.
like you can definitely tell his Kentucky roots in his early days of acting.
I'm trying to fathom this line from the Hollywood Reporter article that we're basing this whole conversation on this big Hollywood Reporter article, and it says he connected with Heard, and on one occasion he walked into a high-end jewelry store, sat for a couple of hours. They showed him stuff, gave him champagne, and he walked out with a $400,000 diamond cuff. It was a classic sort of moment because it wasn't worth $400,000.
What?
Yeah, that's just a thing.
Like they ripped Johnny Depp off?
I
What
think
is
so,
it?
yeah.
The swashbuckler's been a swashbuckle.
That's where the champagne comes in. Yeah.
Look at all these rings.
I would
have
like
on
to
my
imagine
hand.
this jewelry store, though, is like a Robin Hood of jewelry stores. They sell rich people like super cheap jewelry for high prices and sell poor people super expensive jewelry for low prices.
Do you have any idea how much this scarf costs?
It's made from amber herds.
Well,
Look at that Amber Heard
it's interesting
running
to
in the
me
distance.
that we'll get back to Johnny Depp, but did you guys hear about how Elon Musk was like stalking Amber Heard pretty much? Like he would send her these creepy emails and stuff, but now they're dating. So it worked out in his favor.
Well, that's
Hey,
what
man.
dating used to be.
Yeah.
Sending
when you
creepy
did the
emails.
waltz.
Just don't
I
stop.
Yeah.
I
Just don't
saw
stop.
her and I just thought I had to marry her, so
Yeah.
I showed up outside the
I
house
couldn't
for
say no.
5 months straight until she agreed to go on a
I
date.
couldn't take no for an answer.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Amber, do you like the idea of possibly going to space in a few years?
Our
You
our
wanna
love
go
could
to
be
space?
powered by solar panels.
You know what they say about Elon Musk's musk? Everyone's made that joke way better than I have.
smells like ass crack sweat.
Oh God.
Come
Jesus.
give Elon a kiss, Amber.
It is kind of hard to believe though that their divorce settlement was only $7 million.
Yeah. Well, also another thing.
Which
Johnny
she
It's
said
hard
that-
to believe Amber Heard's as big an actress as she
Well,
is.
and
you
she
know?
said that she was
I
gonna-
thought she was just the thing that
Johnny Depp married.
did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she acted at least before.
I thought she was an
married
abstract
No,
idea.
She shows her pieces off in that one Johnny Depp movie, the Rum Diary. That's him
Oh,
doing
really?
another terrible Hunter Thompson impression for 2 hours that I watched for some reason because I'm a Hunter S. Thompson fan. And
of course.
again, you shouldn't do that. It's not good, but that was the one thing I remember from that movie. It was just like, oh, there's a naked blonde lady in here.
Interesting.
that's
I
it.
Wasn't aware of that. Might
Yeah.
have to watch
Jack,
the Rum
do you
Diary.
have aspirations to do a bunch of drugs and infiltrate the Hell's Angels at some point?
Yeah, I definitely see you doing that.
Who
yeah.
That'd
doesn't?
be cool.
Yeah.
You know, Be a
I'd
lot
love to
cooler if you
emulate.
did.
Oh, I'd love to emulate Hunter S. Thompson.
I'm good.
Yeah, I want to commit suicide.
After a full life.
I really want-
You're no Hemingway.
Do you see the video of him shooting at his neighbor?
Yeah.
He's just like crouched in the weird positions, shooting it because his neighbor started shooting at him or something like that.
Yeah.
It's-
Here's
who
the
knows?
thing. You can be a great artist and an absolute horrible human being. I don't know
That's
if you
the way
know
it
that.
goes most often.
He
yeah.
was neighbors with Jack Nicholson for a period of
Oh,
time.
that seems like a great pairing.
Yeah, right. And Nicholson, like at the time, like married, wife, like kids, the whole thing, you know. And Nicholson told this story. I remember reading it in like a Rolling Stone after Thompson died. That like he just like woke up in the middle of the night, like doorbell being rung, and there was just like a deer's heart left on his front door.
Oh my god!
Oh, good to see Hunter's thinking about me.
I brought you Native American spirit.
But by the way, before we like go to break or move off the topic, I just wanted to show some pictures I found of Johnny Depp's properties. This is the one he owns in France.
It's proper Thai dollar sign.
so
That's,
tiny.
how it goes.
Man,
And this is
I believe they refer to that as a chateau. You can't even call that a mansion.
and this is the one he refers to as F Off Island.
Oh yeah, he does have his own
He
island.
owns an island.
He calls it F off island.
He calls it F Off Island.
Can,
Why
can
hasn't he
he
killed
just
himself yet?
overdose or something like that? Like, God, I hate this guy so
I'm a
much.
fan of Johnny Depp. I think he's a good actor.
When?
What's the last good thing Johnny Depp has done?
Sweeney
Ed-
Todd.
I do like
Ed
him.
Wood.
That was over 10 years ago.
No, I
That's
like
fine.
him in Tusk and in Yoga Hosers.
You liked him in
Okay. Well, we're
He's-
just gonna,
let's
let's
not
go to
forget-
break. This has been a great show.
Let's not forget he is in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them
Oh
Is
really?
he
for
really?
a total
I-
of
I
like
tried to
4
forget.
minutes.
Is it because
Oh.
J.K. Rowling bought the yacht and he like had over?
Please, I need some
Yeah.
help. I need some money, please.
I want to be the villain in this new franchise you're trying to do.
I love that he's from Kentucky and always has
Uh,
an air of English in his accent.
If
Should
you wanna
I
know-
see Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm not like a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, I
but,
think it's
like,
worth a watch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also, Tyler, if you hated him before, here's just a great quote. I
don't hate him
he was
that
asked
much.
about this. Yeah, he was asked about his financial troubles on April 25th, and his response: "It's my money. If I want to buy 15,000 cotton balls a day, it's my thing."
It's my money and I need it now.
it's my scarves. and I
Also,
want them
we
now.
can't forget that he's slated to be the Invisible Man in Universal
Oh,
MonsterVerse.
God, no.
Remember when he
Oh.
was really campaigning to be Namor in a Marvel movie?
Yeah,
he
I
was
do
really
remember that.
campaigning to be Namor.
How can he be all stealthy and invisible with all those like rings and keys just jingling around him all the time? Is it gonna be like Hollow Man?
I don't know. Just
I hope it's like Hollow
never
Man.
forget that he
Yeah.
was this in Lone Ranger. danger.
I think he's
Never
going to
forget.
study Lead of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Whoever that guy was.
Oh God, he's the Invisible Man in League, and it
Yeah.
just ends with him getting raped to death by
Wow.
Mr. Hyde, which happens in that comic book.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll
Yes.
go to break now.
Yes.
We'll be back here. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, guys.
Hey guys, it's Tyler Wood here from Prime Nation. I'm here to give you another graphic novel. This time we've got The Living Finger by Garth Matthews. We're very excited to be giving this away live on the Prime Nation Live YouTube channel May 19th. For your chance to win, all you have to do is share this video either on Twitter or Facebook for your chance to enter. And you can enter up to twice a day, 7 days a week. We're going to be giving away this fine comic book May 19th on Prime Nation Live, so tune in to see who wins. Hey guys, it's Tyler Wood here from Prime Nation. I'm here to give you another graphic novel. This time we've got The Living Finger by Garth Matthews. We're very excited to be giving this away live on the Prime Nation Live YouTube channel May 19th. For your chance to win, all you have to do is share this video either on Twitter or Facebook for your chance to enter. And you can enter up to twice a day, 7 days a week. We're going to be giving away this fine comic book May 19th on Prime Nation Live, so tune in to see who wins. Hey guys, it's Tyler Wood here from Prime Nation. I'm here to give you another graphic novel.
back from our second break. It's May 11th. This is Prime Nation Live. We're going to talk about some nerd culture now. So we talked about the Hellboy news a little bit yesterday, but Jack has some new news for us, some newer news, if you will.
Yeah, it's more just like expanding on stuff that we kind of already know. So they're rebooting the franchise, and it's exciting for a couple different reasons. But one of the co-screenwriters of the movie gave like an interview that came out yesterday, and one of the things that I thought was pretty exciting about it, which is the idea that Neil Marshall, the director of the movie, who made The Descent, which is one of the best horror films possibly ever made.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
absolutely fantastic.
Is that the one about the catacombs?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've never
the
seen that one.
Spelunkers. It's all female cast. It's amazing. It's one of those few movies that people I know that don't like horror movies at all always bring up to me in like casual conversation. Like they're like, "This movie's amazing."
Nice.
And he's basically co-screenwriter has said that like Neil's like whole approach to this movie is that he wants to walk his quote like to walk a razor's edge between a horror and a comic book movie, which is very encouraging for the tone of Hellboy because Guillermo del Toro gets some things right with Hellboy and stuff, but you know, especially in that second movie, he goes full Lovecraftian and you know, kind of takes out some stuff that make the character really great. So I'm really excited to just kind of see them kind of go full bore into like a dark fantasy horror movie.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's not super rushed because
And you said
they're
that
just going into shooting in like
Mike
September.
Mignola has a role in writing it as
Yeah,
well,
he's
or
one
at
of the
least
co-screenwriters of the movie.
Cool.
And I can't remember the specific comic that it's based off of, but they already have like a specific storyline that they're going with.
It's the subtitle is Rise of the Blood Queen. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Does that ring any bells for the comics?
It's been like so long since I really like delved into those books, but just growing up, they were one of like my favorites. Like I just love the art style and
we
creative
said
approach.
yesterday none of us are familiar with like the actual comic book.
Yeah,
character.
and I think what is exciting for me in this is like, you know, I think this is again just another bid to maybe do expanded universe type stuff, which is fantastic because there's the BPRD and the whole organization that Hellboy works for. When there's all these super interesting, fun, well-defined characters that Mignola's been writing for years.
Is Hellboy Dark Horse?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Again, I think the one like
What does
the
BRPD stand for?
BPRD, Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense.
Is that related to RIPD?
No,
Oh, God.
RIPD is a ripoff of certain aspects of Hellboy and Men in Black and a bunch of other things.
Okay, so it's like a parody.
No, more just like a direct ripoff of stuff.
That was
Okay.
Jeff Bridges, and who was the
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
Well, that's based on a
okay.
comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but based off a comic that is like Cowboys versus Aliens, where they write a comic for the specific purpose of getting it
Okay.
adapted into a movie.
Which company was that? Is that Image?
I don't know.
Probably
I think some random.
IDW or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, probably some random publisher. I think
See a
the
Random
thing that
House?
makes me apprehensive about this Hellboy is that the production distributor for it is Millennium Films, which they are most famous for making the London and Olympus Has Fallen movies, and The Mechanic, and basically the ugly side of American action movies.
Are they just the distribution company for Hellboy or production?
I think they're like the production company.
Oh,
for it.
okay.
Yeah, they made all the Expendables films.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
that's the part that makes me apprehensive because the thing behind them is they're like a largely like financed by China company. So basically everything that they make has like a worldwide box office in mind, which isn't the most encouraging thing for like a Hellboy,
Yeah.
especially when China banned the Ghostbusters movie for having ghosts in it. What does this mean for Hellboy, I guess?
Whoa, huh.
You know, like
Why did they ban it for ghosts?
because China's a very spiritual country and they are very particular with their portrayals of like ghosts in films.
Okay.
That's
They
crazy.
typically don't want them in there at all. So a lot of like paranormal like ghost movies, like I believe Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro's last movie, wasn't released in China.
So even the original Ghostbusters?
Oh, I don't know.
Huh.
I'm sure that wasn't ever theatrically released in China to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is kind of the point of apprehension I have. Everything else about this movie, 100% full on board with. Just to have, you know, I love Ron Perlman, but it is going to be nice to have a not 70-year-old man playing Hellboy.
I'm excited
that
for
can-
David Harbour.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Yeah, I think so too.
And-
The cop from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
right?
man.
And again, Neil Marshall is a fantastic director who's, a better point of perspective for a lot of people in here is he's directed some of the biggest episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that is very good news.
And
for
so
Hellboy.
even though it is being produced by Millennium, they've never had a director of his stature
Exactly.
working
What,
for
what
them,
else have they
so.
done?
He just said,
like the Expendables, Olympus Has Fallen movies,
Anything
the
good?
Mechanic movies.
Anything? Okay.
No, that's the thing is they have released nothing good. Their track record is really bad.
So this is going to be a
Make or
big
break.
action movie. It's not going to be a
No,
good,
it's
well
not.
thought out movie.
No, it's not going to be a big action movie. They're already saying that it's not going to be like they're going for a more straightforward, very gruesome, gory horror movie. Again, also fantastic for Neil Marshall because the dude does a lot of practical effects.
Ooh,
So hopefully
cool.
that means
We'll keep
this'll
in tune
be-
with the other Hellboy stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that it keeps a practical approach. I hope we see a Hellboy with hooves. That'd be nice.
Yeah. And
Um,
also because
That'd be hard to do with practical effects.
I think that they could do Hellboy. I hope they do him where it's like a combination of full makeup like Ron Perlman, and then doing some like little mocap stuff like having the hooves, maybe like messing with his facial features to give him like a more like less
Chiseled.
100% human
Yeah,
approach.
yeah.
Like I don't know. I think there's a lot of like interesting ways they can go at this. And again, having Mignola so on board with
Yeah.
it is a very
That's
good sign
encouraging,
because he doesn't have the best attitude towards the second Hellboy movie because he feels like Del Toro just kind of took a lot of the characters that he created and then just gave his own approach to it, which is fine,
And
but it's not an adaptation.
I feel like Guillermo was trying more to make action movies than like a dedicated comic book movie,
Yeah.
and that's why apparently he's not coming back for the third. They're not giving him a sequel, is because he wanted a much bigger budget for the third one.
I'm glad that he like. I know a lot of people. I like Guillermo del Toro, but I'm not in the big savior camp like a lot of people
Yeah,
are with
yeah.
him, and I'm totally on board with bringing in a different director and everything for this
Yeah.
movie. I'm honestly legitimately very excited to see where they go with
Yeah,
this.
me too.
What's
Me
your
too.
favorite Guillermo del Toro movie?
Oh man, Pan's Labyrinth
Yeah.
is
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Blade 2, if we're being like legitimate though, I've seen that movie so many times. That's like in like those listed movies for me where I can put it on any time. Like it's a depression movie for me.
You ever
Like,
seen The Orphanage?
It's a produced movie by him, but yeah,
Okay.
That is a spooky movie.
Yeah,
How,
it is.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
How'd you feel about Pacific Rim?
It's fine.
Right? I agree.
The way I love giant monster movies, and the way I would like compare those movies, with like Kong and Godzilla, and Pacific Rim is like an HJ, where it's like, all right, well, you know what I really want,
Gets
and
the
then,
job done,
and
but-
then Kong is the closest that
Yeah.
we've gone to just getting like some full penny in there, and it's nice. But I'm hoping
Oh,
that
I get it.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to this next Pacific Rim movie.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
plus
to see
you got
what they
John
do with
Boyega
it.
in there.
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
that's
such a
awesome.
likable
I
screen
think
presence.
He'll
Yeah,
be
man,
way
John
better
Boyega-
than Charlie Hunnam.
What was
Yeah, I
the
hate
first
Charlie.
thing that John Boyega really like came to prominence
Attack the
with?
Block.
Okay,
If
okay,
you guys
got
That was
have
a
not
cool
seen
movie. That was a
yeah,
cool
it's
movie.
A great
Yeah, it
movie.
was a
it.
cool
I haven't
movie.
seen it. No.
It's I can't remember. I'm gonna look up his name real quick.
The guy that was
It's the guy. He is. He writes with Edgar Wright. He
Oh,
co-wrote
excuse me.
Ant-Man. Joe Cornish.
Okay.
That's his name. I didn't even need to pull it up. Joe Cornish. And it's basically, I would say stylistically, how so many people have tried to do like a Goonies, and riffing on just kids being kids and stuff like that.
Right.
This is the best example to give of one of those types of movies where it's just some street kids in London
Wow.
fighting some aliens.
Yep.
And it's
in an
awesome.
apartment building. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nice.
Plus, you got what's his name, Nick Frost, the fat guy from all the Edgar Wright
really?
movies,
Okay.
as just a wigger drug dealer in the movie, and it's awesome.
Perfect. Very nice. What is the Baby Driver? I'm looking forward to that.
I'm so excited
Yeah, that
for
looks
that
like it'll be
movie.
good.
Every trailer is so exciting.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright's amazing, and the fact that he's doing like a musical action movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
That's
know.
what
I
Baby
haven't-
Driver is.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it is like it's not like full on musical. That's how he's describing it, and it premiered at South by Southwest, and that's how everybody's been kind of putting it as is that all the action scenes are just like full choreographed, almost like musical dance numbers.
Oh, okay. In that sense, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
What's the synopsis?
I can't. I'm not.
It's
kind of
unclear to
right.
me.
Yeah.
It's kinda-
so
it's like
it's
a-
a kid with
yeah.
like tinnitus, like he has an ear problem. So he is a getaway driver for bank robbers, and he puts music on to help like his timing with things and help keep himself focused.
Oh, okay.
So all the car chase and like action scenes in the movie are like done to these like music cues.
That's
and
my
stuff.
favorite type of entertainment is whenever you have just like even a short vignette that like is the length of a single song, but everything is coinciding
and,
with
and,
it.
And Edgar Wright is amazing at
Yeah,
that. And
I
the fact
love
that he's
that
doing
so
a whole
much.
movie that is basically just centered around that is awesome. Plus the cast is like Ansel Elgort, who's that dude from like The Fault in Our Stars or whatever, that teen cancer romance movie.
Yeah.
But then it's got like Kevin Spacey,
John
John Hamm,
Hamm.
Jamie Foxx, like
John Bernthal.
great
Oh,
cast.
so it is.
yeah,
It's
Joe
getting a
Bernthal.
huge
Flea?
theatrical
Yeah.
release then.
Flea is in there.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
That's
it premiered.
awesome.
It premiered at South by Southwest. I think like a work print, so not 100% finished copy of the film, and people were like, "It's fantastic," which I wouldn't expect anything less from Edgar Wright. I mean, the dude made Scott Pilgrim, which is the greatest video game movie ever made by a long
Really?
Mm.
mile. Yeah, like
What
Scott
else
Pilgrim's
has he
amazing.
done? I
It's
know he's done
dope.
5
I'm
million
really
things.
Hot, no, not that many. I can
Wright?
name them all: Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The
yeah.
World's End, and Scott Pilgrim.
I guess am minority in this case because I believe that World's End is way better than Hot Fuzz.
Oh,
I like them
I-
all equally.
I think I'm in a
Shaun
smaller
of the
minority.
Dead is way above both of them for me.
Yeah,
Shaun of the Dead might be my all-time favorite movie in terms of watchability. That's one that I can put on anytime.
Yeah, I think all three of those I can. Or, you know what? All four of them, Scott Pilgrim included. I could put any of his movies on,
Yeah.
and they're like a depression lifter for
Exactly.
me.
That was like
Yeah.
the last movie I bought on DVD was Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah?
It's
Yeah.
so good,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it was fun.
That-
I've
is
never
so
sat down and
rewatchable.
watched it from beginning to end.
It's a
Oh,
fun
God.
movie to
I've
watch.
seen all the pieces, but
Yeah, I saw it in theaters
Oh,
twice.
I remember.
and
I saw
just-
it in theaters twice, and I remember how freaking pumped I got. And
Yeah.
God, that was just an amazing
Plus,
experience.
one of the best video game adaptations ever. If you got a PS3, go download that digital game. It's an
Okay.
awesome old
Talking
school.
about that
I-
beat 'em
I
up.
disagree,
Yeah.
but that game has an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah,
that game's
it's so-
soundtrack is one of the
It's
best.
so fun.
Yeah.
well, and apparently Edgar Wright directed a music video for a band called Mint Royale in 2003 called The Blues Song, which starred. Oh, okay. I thought it was one of the actors from this movie, but it starred an actress Noelle Fielding as a music-loving getaway driver.
Noel Fielding
Noel,
is
okay.
he's one of the
Actor.
co-leads of
Okay.
the Mighty Boosh, which is one of the reasons I'm even like doing anything now.
Yeah.
That show is amazing.
I am in a smaller minority than you because I've never seen an Edgar Wright movie.
Not even Scott Pilgrim.
dude.
Nope, none of them.
Wow.
yeah,
Sean-
I think you would legitimately like any of those movies.
Yeah.
No,
Hot Fuzz is dope.
I've heard nothing but good things about all of them, and
Yeah.
just haven't gotten around to it.
In
yet.
Because
my
his movies are
opinion-
great 'cause they're not parodies.
And actually, well,
That's what
I
are so
feel
good
like
about 'em.
you're saying that you're in a smaller minority. Actually, I think you're in the large majority of people because that's
Yeah.
the thing. Those movies haven't made a lot of money, unfortunately.
In my social group, I'm in a
Sure.
minority.
They're like they were like instant cult classics. Like at least Shaun
Oh
of the
yeah,
Dead.
I remember my dad like renting Shaun of the Dead when it came out on DVD, and he and I watching it, and then my like everybody in my family was out of town for some reason. Like my mom and like brothers were gone, and it was just me and my dad. And Hot Fuzz premiered that weekend. That was like our big like bonding.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
we watched that, and then Evil Dead 2 later that
Oh,
night, and I saw that
nice.
for the first time.
See, I wish
Nice.
one of my biggest problems with Guardians 2 was just there was no understatement. Everything was over the top and caricatured, which I understand. All those
I would
characters
say
are
the
essentially
only thing that
caricatured.
would like understate. I really liked Kurt Russell's character.
Yeah,
in that movie.
yeah.
I thought he was awesome.
He was
Yeah.
awesome.
And I
yeah.
mean, not just because like I'm an uber Kurt Russell fanboy in every sense of it, but he is so good in that movie, and he is maybe the most complicated antagonist we've had
Yeah.
in a Marvel movie up until this point.
I totally agree.
Like-
He's definitely one of my favorite Marvel movie villains.
I just
Yeah,
think it.
I-
I just think it kind of the facade with him dissolved a little too quick.
Yeah, his body was shot, which was weird because he could recharge it, but he's like, the body I have is, I have to return to get it to recharge. Then look,
Yeah.
like he is just an old dude,
Yeah.
and he's like stumbling around. Like, you can tell his hips are a little messed up. And then I'm like, well, if you're a planet and you're an all-knowing being, why
And you
can't you
have
just
this light in the
fix
middle
it?
of it.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't-
you morph into David Hasselhoff
Like, it
for a
just
minute.
seems-
See,
it
I don't
just-
want to spoil any more for anyone who might be listening.
they
Can-
shouldn't have listened.
Well, we reviewed
Don't
it a couple
listen to the
days
other
ago.
show.
Yeah.
That's not to
Anybody
say-
that cares about seeing that movie has already seen
Yeah,
that
for
movie.
real.
Like, there's
Um,
nobody that's gonna be like, "Oh my god, no!"
Like I feel like there had to have been more that just ended up on the cutting room floor because it's such a quick transition between Star-Lord like loving the concept of helping out his dad and everything, and then Kurt Russell saying,
feel
"Yeah,
like
I put that
has
tumor
a lot
in your."
to do with the movie going by so fast, and
Well, there's so many
just that
storylines.
There's
they had
just
to do.
so much like cutaway stuff. Like, just I think the biggest mistake any movie can make. It's like the same mistake you make in like Dungeons and Dragons that ruins a game, which is just splitting the party.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
don't do that.
Oh, see,
You
I thought
had
that was
I
really
didn't
cool.
mind
more
that,
with
honestly.
her
I actually
sister.
really
You
liked
had
that
like
they did
I think
that.
they pulled it off
Yondu.
well.
You had like I mean, you already had was that considered the main storyline of
I
Star-Lord
think
figuring
so.
out his dad?
No, I mean, for me, the main story was Yondu. For me, like
That's
that-
what-
how
what it seemed
awesome
like.
is that?
so cool.
That Michael Rooker is like the lead ostensibly
And,
of
yeah.
like a major motion picture.
and like I said,
that.
I
He
can't
might be your
think,
father, mom, your daddy, boy.
Yeah, I can't think of another movie that glorifies stepdads like that. Like that's pretty cool.
I
I don't-
really like
The Smurfs
just,
too.
You know, the whole just refuting the idea. I think it's really good in like a kids movie because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it is a children's
Yeah.
movie, and I
Guardians
really
of the Galaxy?
absolutely.
I disagree.
I think
It's
with
a
the
those
family-
Marvel
it's a
movies
family- it's a
are
family
made
It's aimed a little
for
bit higher than that.
families.
There's a few
Those-
too many
those-
curse words. And
Yeah, but that's like gags in a Shrek movie.
But like all the
And they're
all
better done.
all
but
the
it's same
Drax
thing.
jokes, all the Groot gags, it's all definitely aimed at kids.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say
Drax
it's aimed
jokes
at
about
kids.
penises?
I think it's aimed at a lower common denominator, but I don't think just mainly. I think it's aimed.
It's not mainly kids, but it's a family movie.
Yeah,
I
family.
disagree. I don't think it's a
What,
full family movie.
why do you think Disney would buy Marvel comic books if not to make major family
I don't-
movies? It was all families when I went and saw that movie.
It appeals to a lot of families, but I think it's even more. It isn't more all encompassing than a family.
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, those movies are supposed to be like all inclusive. They're for everybody, ostensibly. I
don't
guess
think
what I'm
family's
getting
the right
at
term.
is just I really liked sitting in that movie theater, surrounded by families, with my family, watching that movie where the moral is refuted again. The idea that maybe your blood family isn't necessarily the family you need.
Exactly.
I
yeah.
think that's a really important thing for little kids
That's
to
what
learn.
it was. Yeah,
And
that's exactly
I
what
think
it was.
that's awesome. Like, I think it's cool to just kind of have these like morals snuck into kids' movies now. That's why those
Yeah.
Leica movies, you
And
know,
it's
like
not-
Paranorman and stuff, are so great
it's
because
not
they can put little
shoved in
things
your
like that.
face either.
Yeah.
Because like I grew up with a stepdad, and as a kid, you never realize how much of like a sacrifice that is that someone's
Exactly.
making, and then that movie really put it into perspective for you.
And I thought that was so cool.
Especially where you know they reference it multiple times, like you could fit into places I couldn't fit into. You're good for thieving, and then he finally was like, "You really think that's the reason I didn't take you to him?"
Yeah.
So good. But I only brought that up because Edgar Wright has such a perfect sense of understatement with all his running jokes. Like you got a spot of red on you.
Yeah,
you know,
there's
and it-
nothing super obvious, and
So
that's why those
awesome.
movies like retain such rewatchability because
Yeah.
it is a callback earlier to show. It's that Monty Python thing where there's just gags that you can notice again and again and again.
Yeah.
Because
Young Frankenstein's
there's
that
such-
way. That's my
Mel-
favorite movie of
Mel,
all time.
again,
Movies.
that's why like Monty Python, Mel Brooks, The Simpsons, those early
Airplane
seasons
is
hold
one-
up so well
Airplane
because
and
there's
the
just
first
so
two
many
Naked
jokes.
Guns.
Well, and just that
Yes.
sequence where he's walking to the gas station when things are normal, and then he's walking to the gas station after people have become zombies is so perfect.
Yeah,
It's almost
yeah.
the exact same.
Yeah.
Like he's so good at
Yeah.
just orchestrating shots like that.
Yeah.
And again, he improves on things that like Sam Raimi developed, you know, back in the day with those Evil Dead movies that, you know, just, you know, builds and improves on them.
That brings a point though. Most of the comedy movies nowadays, they are packed with jokes, but for some reason they don't have the funness of a Mel Brooks movie.
I think a lot of
things
that
are
is
packed
also-
with jokes anymore.
I think a lot of it's also the jokes are almost all dialogue based.
Yeah.
True.
Whereas I think of like the movies I like the Edgar Wright's movie you're describing, or I think of like Airplane in the first two Naked Gun movies, and there's a lot of visual gags, a lot of subtle visual gags.
Yeah.
Like shots had to be perfectly structured, otherwise you would not.
You
get
had to pay like very close attention to what's
and also
going
you
on.
can appreciate like the making of the movie because if the shot is like a foot to the left, you know, if the camera's a foot to the left, the joke's not going to land. 'cause
And
the visual
also,
gag's
none
in
of those
place.
movies are like, we're trying to say something. And I feel like so many movies now, that is one of the main reasons I hated Sausage Party so much. It's just like, we're trying to say something here. And it's like, why can't you just write a good joke? Just write me a good joke and, let
also
me
I
laugh.
don't know.
Sorry, go ahead, Tanner.
Well, I don't know if this is the exact moment, but I pin it down to, and I always say this, that good movies always have bad trends that follow because everyone takes the wrong lesson. And I think it was the early Judd Apatow movies.
Oh,
like
no,
40-Year-Old
40-Year-Old
Virgin.
Virgin absolutely
Yeah.
ruined comedy movies.
Even though I love
yeah.
that movie.
Because how many comedies nowadays are just a ton of screaming obscenities at each other, and that's the joke.
How many are 2 hours long? Comedy
Yeah.
movies should not be over an hour
Easily
and a half
digestible.
long. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
every
Funny People's
Judd
2.5 hours.
Yeah,
Funny, I like
40
funny people.
40-Year-Old Virgin is over 2 hours long.
What?
Knocked Up is over 2 hours long. Superbad is exactly 2 hours long. Superbad is, I think, far and above the best
Yeah.
out of any of those
Yeah.
movies.
Superbad's really, but see, that's what I mean. There are a lot of good movies. It's not like these are all bad movies. Again, I think the 40-Year-Old Virgin is great, but people are going to take the wrong lessons from it,
Yeah.
which is just, hey, let's let the actors riff for a while. No, we don't need a script. Just give them a premise
God,
and let them
that's
riff.
the worst.
Well,
Is
guys,
it-
let's go ahead and take a break real quick. We'll get back to it though. I know. Well, go ahead and say what you were going to say.
No, I
Tyler.
was just going to say it doesn't seem to me like actors actually transform into the characters anymore.
No,
It's
they're just playing themselves. That's
exactly.
like every
Jonah Hill has been the same person for the
He's-
last 10
yeah.
years.
where
as
his
opposed
characters'
to-
names are like Jonah.
Yeah.
Like they're just named their first names and stuff. There's
As
you
opposed
know,
to Gene Wilder, who transformed into
Oh, yeah.
Willy Wonka. He
And
transformed into
again,
the cowboy.
a lot of that has to
transformed
do-
into Victor Frankenstein.
a lot of that just has to do with the worldwide, film market now, and just the idea that like they're making things for everybody across the board. So they're very much of the idea of like, well, we can't make that joke because people in Taiwan aren't going to get what we're referencing. And it's just like, so we'll just yell about weed for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I love Danny McBride, but it's just like he's devolved in all those movies to just making semen jokes.
He's,
Danny
he's the Ricky
McBride-
Gervais of America,
I
unfortunately, in terms
love-
of playing the same character.
I love Danny McBride, but my problem is that, yeah, he's been playing Kenny Powers for way
Yeah,
too long.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how he is in Alien Covenant.
I've heard
I
he's
can't wait to see
fantastic.
that.
Dude, I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because he finally
Next
gets a
week.
chance to act again as
Mhm.
opposed to just playing himself.
And he's writing the new Halloween movie with David
Yeah.
Gordon Green,
Oh,
which
really?
is gonna
yeah,
be
man.
absolutely fantastic.
It is going to be
Wow,
awesome.
that's
That's
But
what I love about John C. Reilly. He's an actually good actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
John C.
true.
Oh,
Reilly-
John C. Reilly
yeah.
made dramas before he was
Yeah.
cast in Step Brothers.
Yeah.
all right, guys. So we'll take another quick break. We'll be back here at 11:30. So stick around till then. Back from our third and final break. It's May 11th. This is Prime Nation Live. So we're going to talk about a few more things and then send it over to Gerard for Japanimation Station. So first order of business in nerd culture. Well, no, I guess we already talked about nerd culture last segment. So second, third, whatever order of business
The
this
last.
is. Yeah, last order of business for
yes,
nerd culture.
last
That's the best
order
way to
of
put it.
business.
Is Judge Dredd is getting an animated series. So
It's live action.
live action?
It's live
I
action.
just
Judge Dredd,
double-checked.
Mega City 1.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, it's gonna be live action.
I was going to bring up if they did do it animated, like maybe
They
take
did
back
an
doing it-
animated web series that's like a sequel to Judge Dredd, like Dredd the movie.
Oh, nice.
That the producers did that follows Judge Death. That has Carl Urban and I'm forgetting the actress's name, but the people that were starred in Dredd returning, and it's a lot of fun.
How would you feel about doing it in the style of like heavy metal and Aeon Flux, like doing it in that animated
So-
style?
I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, that makes sense because it's all 20,000 AD and those
Yeah.
British comics and stuff. But I'm just excited about the fact that Judge Dredd's coming back after Dredd being one of the best action movies made in the past 20 years. And
Dude, Dredd is so freaking good.
it
Was
with
that-
Carl
is
Urban.
so damn
Was it
good.
like a reboot or was it continuing?
It was a reboot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
no, it has
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
to do with the
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone barely
'Cause
Judge Dredd adaptation.
They made two Stallone ones, right?
One.
Just one. Okay.
Just
one.
one.
And it's not, it's not terrible, but it's not Judge Dredd.
I had the Super Nintendo game based on that movie.
Yeah.
You know how you can tell like which Dredd is better. So we got this one. Look at that jawline. That's Carl Urban, and then we got Sylvester Stallone. Look at that jawline. Look at that face.
I would take the helmet off.
Yeah, you would think Stallone, like Stallone's character Stakar, you would think he's actually Rocky with the way that he talks in that, and then Guardians
I got
2.
it.
I'll give it to
I
him.
was so excited he was in
tried.
Guardians too.
No, yeah, I mean, I like this character a
He
lot.
was-
It's just his voice is like
Yeah.
so hard to understand.
That's
Yeah.
why I was like, okay, you didn't just slip into your usual Sylvester Stallone speech. You actually tried to enunciate. It didn't happen, but
Yeah.
you tried. I can tell you're opening your mouth, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I got the brain tumor in my head.
back to business? You ready?
You will never have the Ravager
Ravagers for life.
punches himself in the jaw, gives himself another concussion.
Drago!
I'm gonna have him glass table me. Okay. Those doogies.
Anyway,
You fall down and you pick yourself back up.
Welcome to Prime. Welcome
He
to
has
Prime
to sniff,
Nation
too.
Live. The next 5 minutes will be comprised entirely of Sylvester Stallone impressions.
yeah, we should
Strap
have
in.
made that. We should have made the listeners aware of that.
But
So-
yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, there's not really much to go off of. You know, there's not really like
They
yeah.
they have the title Mega City 1. It seems like they're really going to go into the whole like the tagline I have
He's
here
summoning
is
a demon right now.
What am I hearing?
Yeah.
We have Cameron doing some incantations over here.
Just a tiny bit, yeah. Just a little
I mean, it's not that you're being loud; it's that you're being quiet, and it just sounds like,
Yeah. I don't know if the mics picked it up or not, but if you did, that's what you've been hearing is Cameron doing God knows what over
Your
there.
soul is mine.
He's just doing some incantations. It's fine.
Oh man.
Go
But,
do your
uh,
witchcraft somewhere else.
the log line or the
Excuse me,
tagline
Warlock.
here is 400 million citizens, every one a potential criminal. So I'm kind of curious how serialized it'll be.
Oh
as it-
God, I hope it's just a scumbag of the week show.
I do. I want that so bad, and you
God.
could totally make that work.
I hope it would be awesome if Carl Urban came back too, because I know
He did that Almost
really-
Human show for Fox. It's not like he's above TV.
Yeah, exactly. And he really wanted to do a Dredd sequel, and it's just one of those things he consistently talks about. So I don't think it'd be completely unreasonable, and it'd be super awesome to see him get back into it. I just hope they delve more into the social satire angle, which it seems like they're going to do, because that is the one thing Dredd, the comics, is so heavy on, is just making fun of the world and like things that are going on in our present day real life reality, and exaggerating them in this crazy science fiction world. So it's really cool news. It kind of just came out of left field, and
It really did come out of nowhere. Like
yeah.
the last, I mean, we probably won't hit it today, but there's the Deadpool news that came from yesterday about the animated series.
Is this
but
also FXX?
No, they don't know who
Yeah.
it's going to be yet.
They still are just calling it a potential series, so
Yeah.
they don't.
They're shopping it around.
Well, they already
Yeah.
have executive producers, like it's already in the works.
Yeah.
But it
That's-
hasn't been picked up anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure which network or cable or
They-
streaming.
Yeah,
Well,
that's just the weird thing now is we release articles like this in order to drum up possible interest in a network picking it up now.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like a network that's like we're very interested, but like how much steam can you build
It's
up
more
with
just
this?
like they have a production company behind it and producers, and they're trying to get it made.
Well, it's like the way I look at it. There was a Kickstarter. I think it was 2 years ago for a Castlevania-esque game from the people who made the Castlevania games good, and they revealed after they hit their mark that they were getting 20 times more funding from a third-party company than the Kickstarter, and they said the Kickstarter was just to show that third-party company that we had interest. We
Yeah.
had no intention of developing the game with that money because that was not going to be enough. And that seems to be the thing these days, is to show public interest by putting this stuff
That's
out
what
there.
Mystery Science Theater this newest season
Mhm.
was, is that was kickstarted, and then like picked up through Netflix. And
Yeah.
that's how it works.
That's the world we live in, and I mean that's fine. I
Hey,
guess
at
it's-
least we're getting that Castlevania animated series too on
Yeah,
Netflix.
I was
Yeah.
just looking at because who's the showrunner for that?
It's the guy who made the Dredd movie, the producer, and he
Okay,
did,
yeah.
like that Power Rangers fan
That's
film.
right. That's
and,
right. Yeah, I thought there was a
Adi
connection there.
Shankar, I believe his name is.
Oh,
And,
he's directing it.
He's like leading the show, and it's exciting because that Castlevania animated show is being like animated and produced by Frederator Studios, who does Adventure Time and Fairly Odd Parents, and is a very good animation company.
Also,
that is going to
it's-
be doing a hard R, super
Yeah.
violent Castlevania cartoon.
It's also not going to be very long, which is a good thing. 'cause
Yeah,
that
it's
means
only
the
6
animation-
episodes,
yeah,
right?
So the animation could be way
and
better.
Warren Ellis is one of the writers on it, who's one of the best comic book writers in the
Mm,
industry.
That would be cool.
That really might be the first great video game adaptation. I'm still holding out Fruit Ninja, the YouTube Red animated series, is going to be that.
you
But
can't
if
forget
it's not-
Assassin's Creed.
Did you not see the Angry Birds movie?
I
Dan?
didn't.
Oh God, you're missing out.
I heard that it's really, really like xenophobic. Actually.
I can't wait until like it's like we're gonna put Angry Birds, Trolls, the emojis, and the Smurfs all in one movie.
It's worth noting that one of the executive producers signed on for Dredd, Mark Stern, has developed Battlestar Galactica, Helix, and Defiance. All
That's
at
right.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah. So I hope it doesn't go to sci-fi.
Yeah. What's
Me
that
too.
one? What's that one show right now at
Expanse?
Sci-Fi? Yeah,
People are
Expanse.
really liking that
Yeah,
show.
people
Yeah,
are
that's
liking
right.
it,
Isn't
yeah.
that Ronald D. Moore? Am I
No
wrong in
clue.
that?
I don't know.
No clue.
Yeah, I think it might be the creator of Battlestar.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I want to see it happen. Obviously, all we know is that they want to make it. But yeah, again, what we were saying earlier, it's just out of all the things, this at this point in time, I did not expect to hear that Judge Dredd was getting another adaptation.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
super relevant right
yeah.
now.
I guess it really did come out of nowhere. Just like, oh, Judge Dredd is now getting a TV show.
Well, do you think there's any possibility they just expand on the universe that the movie created? If they can get Carl Urban back?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the way they go, that's I think like the smart way to go, because I think that the Dredd movie has enough of a cult following now
Mhm.
to where it wouldn't be anybody questioning like them just expanding upon that
Yeah.
stuff.
And it
I think that's
also
the
is
smartest way to go.
It's unfamiliar enough that someone who hasn't seen the Dredd movie, would be fine just jumping into this if
Yeah.
they wanted.
Yeah, I don't think it's like I think it's like a Hellboy situation where it's not like Hellboy was popular enough, where people are gonna be like, "Well, what the hell? Wasn't there one of these a few years ago with different
Mhm.
people in it?"
Mhm.
Like nobody's gonna care.
Yeah,
like, just
yeah.
give us
so,
more.
just to be clear, Judge Dredd doesn't have he's not mechanized in any way. He doesn't have any superpowers.
No, he is the law.
Yeah, he's just staunchly righteous.
He's judge, jury, executioner.
Yeah. It takes place. I mean, he does have futuristic gadgets and stuff like that help him identify perps, but
Yeah.
he's not
Perps.
he himself isn't a cyborg or anything like that.
You started saying perps. I thought you just burped into the microphone.
No.
No,
That's
I didn't
how
say that.
Stallone-
That was tan.
I would like to hear Stallone just burp his way through Judge Dredd. I bet that's how he did it.
He's not Steven Seagal, guys.
Did you hear Steven Seagal is banned in the
I
Ukraine?
did
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
They banned Steven Seagal.
Like
He's
a
too
drug?
dangerous.
I'm too cool for the
Yeah.
Ukraine.
He's too dangerous, man. They let him in, and he just might.
Where else
overthrow
am
the
I going to
country.
film these movies where I just sit in chairs in different locations?
He was he got hired apparently, and I think this has only been reported by him. I don't know if it's
Okay.
been verified, but he got hired in 2015 by Serbia to teach Aikido to their police force. Steven Seagal, overweight, ponytail, Steven Seagal.
And didn't like a woman escape from a sex dungeon in his house a few years ago? Like that
Jesus.
was absolutely a thing that
What?
happened.
I
Yes.
didn't hear about it. But
I will.
I don't doubt it. Unfortunately.
Yeah. No. He is.
That's like oh man, that's like Patrick Swayze's character in Donnie Darko. Except we all wish Steven Seagal's house would burn down.
Look right here, 2010.
Oh God.
New Orleans news. Steven Seagal kept woman as captive sex toy in Lafayette lawsuit alleges.
What? How did that get settled? What was the verdict?
Let me see. Caden Nguyen is holding. Wait, let me see. Has been sued by Caden Nguyen for allegedly holding her captive in the town of Jean Lafayette as a sex toy while filming the A&E reality show.
Where he wasn't he supposed to be like a officer of the law?
Oh, he was an officer of the law, as in he was just pretending to be an officer of the law. He was never
my
given a badge or anything like that.
God.
It says the lawsuit was dismissed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was settled out of court, like a lot of those, like a certain Bryan Singer situation that happened a couple years ago, where it's like, well, allegedly they did this thing, and it's like, yeah, but a woman escaped from your basement.
Jesus. And apparently this headline is Steven Seagal tricked assistants into becoming sex slaves. So maybe he hired her to ostensibly be an assistant while he was on this production, and then somehow locked her up in a basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that happens accidentally all the time.
That's Don't Breathe too.
Jeez, man. Ugh. That's horrific.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever said Steven Seagal was great at anything, you know?
No one.
Yeah.
Except
No,
the
I
Ukraine,
love how
because they have to ban him because
like,
he's too good.
you know how he got where he was, right? Like he was like a Aikido instructor, like in LA and stuff, and like big Hollywood producers and stuff would take his classes.
Okay.
And basically, a producer came in and was like, "I'm gonna make this guy an action star."
Well, and he claims that the only reason he got into martial arts is because he was a dishwasher. And the person who owned the restaurant was also a martial arts master, and he was like, I've never seen anyone wash dishes that fast before. This can easily translate into Aikido. That's what he says. He was like,
which is literally the least like photogenic form of martial art on the face of the planet, because it's all about slow, deliberate movements.
Oh my God. It's so ridiculous too. Like, I'm pretty sure it's 100% fake. Because you see those demonstrations of it where like people be running full-fledged at someone and they just like tap your arm and they go flying backwards.
Yeah, and isn't it amazing how he went from back in the day sounding like an old Asian man to now he talks like an old black man in movies?
Well, he talks in burps. That's why I brought this up. Like, he literally, between like every 3 words is a suppressed burp.
Yeah,
It's
and he just shoots his movies in like these sketchy Eastern European countries where he's like friends with the prime minister and like he's like having sex scenes with like 20-year-old women in the movies. It is gross,
man. All right, well, anyway, let's
he'll be playing Hellboy in
well, they always do those like C movie ripoffs of whatever's coming out. Like for Pacific Rim, they had Atlantic Rim, I'm pretty sure. So they'll do
I watched a different type of ripoff movie with Pacific Rims involved.
Oh,
no, we
like
don't
a
need
porno.
to elaborate. Yeah. So let's go ahead and send it over to Gerard.
Yeah. Nice energy.
Speaking of Pacific Rims.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of pornography.
There's a lot of pressure here.
Well, what do you want me to give you a better lead in?
No, it's cool.
Gerard, what do you...
I was kind of talking.
Gerard, what do you have to say? What
Thank
do you...
What I have to say is today I'm gonna just be just an open discussion with Tyler Wood here. We both have a fond love for the anime Yu Yu Hakusho. Let me clear that up. Yu Yu Hakusho.
YU.
Yes,
And
YU.
We looked that up the other day. It means like Ghost Hunter.
Ghost Files.
Ghost Files.
Well, also the main character's
Yusuke.
Yusuke.
Not just Yusuke.
Yusuke.
Yes.
Hey, Yusuke.
Hey, Yus. Gay.
Yeah.
Yusuke.
Yeah,
All right, good discussion. What's the next thing we're talking about?
Exactly. That just got rolled right there.
But don't.
But nah, this is one of those animes to where like if you just grew up just watching like adults, not Adult Swim, but Toonami. But eventually you just watch Cartoon Network long enough, and then you find out about Adult Swim. Back when Adult Swim, all the cutaways were just like the Adult Swim sign at like a pool somewhere,
Is this
and that was it.
About the time Lupin the Third was on there as well?
Yeah,
Did you watch
they
Lupin
had
the Third?
Yu Yu
Lupin the
Hakusho,
Third's
Lupin
awesome.
the Third, Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop,
Can't forget about home movies.
Big
all
O.
movies.
The
Yes,
John
yes,
Benjamin.
Yes, all of this stuff just popped up, and you just didn't know what it was. Only thing you knew about was Dragon Ball Z and possibly Gundam.
Yeah, it's because they would air in like that Japanese block from like 3 to 5 in the afternoon, and then they'd re-air it later, and sometimes it'd be uncensored if they had.
I
like,
never
a curse
seen
word
it.
in there. Or
I never
something.
seen it during the daytime.
Yeah, I'd get home from school and watch that,
I do remember seeing some Dragon Ball Z's late at night where they would cuss. It like blew my mind. Yeah,
or just say like, "Damn."
Yeah.
They say the other F word way too much on those old episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I haven't heard
really?
of
Oh, no, I'm kidding. I was just thinking
You're
of the
thinking
90s.
Of Kakarot.
No, just the 90s and with people just casually dropping that in
Yeah.
movies and TV shows where you're like,
Yeah,
ugh.
it was nothing back then.
No, it
really
wasn't.
But this show in particular, it just followed the story of Yusuke Urameshi, who was a tough guy in high school. He just kind of rolled by himself. Everybody respected him, even the other tough guy in high school.
I think
he couldn't beat him.
Hakusho might have meant Spirit Detective. The Yu might have been Yusuke Urameshi.
So like it wasn't a direct translation to just Ghost Files.
I think Yu might have been his nickname, and then or Hakusho might have been the Ghost Files or Ghost Detective, whatever the words that we looked it up were.
Got you. But like he just one day he was walking home from school, right, Tyler?
Yep.
And there was a little kid playing in the street, and he got on him about it. He just started like saying like, "Watch where you going, idiot!" And the kid started crying, so he started playing with him.
Yusuke's a complete outcast. He's hated by everybody. He's a bully,
and he's like completely fine with that because he doesn't really rock with anybody like that. But the kid stumbles back into the street, and Yusuke just out of instinct, he just jumps forward and just pushes him out the way and ends up getting hit by a car. Immediately, he is seeing like floating above his body. Like there's no like cut to commercial. Like immediately he's just watching stuff like, what am I doing up here? He's like, oh snap, I'm dead. Then he meets Botan, the Grim Reaper. Like she
very cute girl with blue hair.
Bone was way hotter.
A cute girl in an anime? No way.
With blue hair?
Jack, just play along. Okay, this is fun. This is
But yeah, she just runs to him like, yeah, you're dead, and then come to find out that this wasn't planned, this wasn't scheduled.
Because everybody thought he was such a POS. They're like, there's no way he'd save this kid. And the funny thing was, Botan actually, she's like, well, we didn't expect you to do this, but if you hadn't jumped in front of the car would have just swerved and missed the kid anyway.
Yeah, it would have caused less damage if you would have just let it just happen like that. Yeah, but he from the next 10 or so episodes, it's just him getting back into getting back into his body.
Oh, okay.
So it just the first episode introduces the whole spirit world thing and whatnot. Like he meets Koema,
that's not the first episode. It's the first couple episodes.
First 5 episodes.
Because second one is there's his funeral, and I love this one because there's a big emotional aspect to it. Everybody that he thought hated him is coming in there, and this is.
Yes, because when she said that, he can come back, he was like, I'm fine with being immediately. He's like, I'm fine with just being a ghost.
Yeah, no one wants me back anyway.
Yeah, he was like, nobody really cared about me, and then they show him that. Yeah.
So his body is buried?
No,
okay.
They have the ceremony with pretty much like an open casket, like it's in his house.
So I was about to ask if his body just stays in the morgue till he's able to get back in it or what.
No, they don't embalm it. There's 2 or 3 days of it just open viewing at his mom's home.
Okay, yeah.
So
and then he visits his mom in her dreams. Or does he possess?
I think he does both. I think he visits her in a dream, and then she's like, Yusuke.
Yeah,
she wakes up very And it's so good, emotionally. The
his
first
mom
5
is just
episodes
an
are so
alcoholic
taxing.
and whatnot, and this, that, and the third. But tells her don't bury me yet. I'm coming back, and then a girl that actually
he might have
cares about
visited his girlfriend in the dream. It was not his real girlfriend. He
the only girl,
the
only
Japanese
person he was kind of nice to or whatnot. But he possesses Kuwabara, who's the other tough guy, and then tells her keep my body prepped up.
So these are half-hour episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
22-ish minutes. Yeah.
Actually, they were longer than what it is now. Anime episodes now about 22 minutes roughly, and about 8 minutes of that. Especially One Piece, they are major offenders about it. The first 6 minutes of the episode is the intro and a brief recap of what.
Dragon Ball Z used to be bad about that too.
Yeah.
Last time on Dragon Ball.
Exactly.
Goku powered up.
Yeah. but see, One Piece, they have the intro, and then they have another intro where it's just here's the world of pirates, and then here we are right now, and then here's Luffy, and then they name all of his crew members, and then what they're doing, and then they go into what the episode's about. It's just too dragged on to where there's no really a recap at all in the beginning, so it's you get 20 minutes of content. And
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But from here, from there, it progresses on. So now he's like he's a spirit detective. He investigates.
That's kind of his penance.
Yes, like
Okay.
he investigates like the stuff going on in the human world, to where it's like whether it's demons. It's mainly just based around like just demons.
And then
in the
that
world.
happens for about maybe 30, 40 episodes, and then it gets bigger, and it gets bigger. It gets bigger. There are spirit tournaments involved. There are a lot of demons coming.
Yeah.
It blows up. It's a
the height of it, I would say, was season 3 or 4, where he runs into the other spirit detective, and then what they're trying to do is to close the gate between the human world and the demon world, to where like only lower class demons were getting through. Like the guys they were having problems with, what they thought were like the big bad guys, were like, no, there's way worse people deeper in the demon world that can't get out. So it's like they're going to break that gate and let them just run loose. And so, yeah, it just progresses more and more in that. And then you find out more stuff about Yusuke and whatnot. And it's a really dope show. It's now on Hulu, but the downside on it is it's subbed. Well, like the dub is actually pretty cool and it's fun.
Yeah.
It has the subtitles, but like, yeah.
So is it wrapped up yet, or they're still going?
Oh yeah,
No,
it wrapped up
it done.
years
Yeah,
ago.
okay.
It's old. Like
it's
it was
done. It's in a perfect package. You can watch the whole thing all the way through. The only thing that drags for me is probably there are about 120 episodes. Is that right?
Yeah.
So probably about episode,
which is very short for like a
80,
very popular anime.
80 to 105 drag a little bit, but it's perfectly fine before that, and it's perfectly fine after that.
So
Once you-
satisfying ending.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Sad. Oh, it was tearjerker for me. Yes.
I it wasn't completely sad for me, but it was like I was like, okay, I was more sad that the thing was over.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
No, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, because I told my roommate, like, because he liked it a lot too, and I had finished it before him. I was just like, I was like, it is like I almost cried, and he was just saying like, oh well, you just ruined it, somebody died, and then without me saying anything, he was like, oh, just because it was over.
Yeah.
Like that was it. It was
Because
just done.
this is something that you will watch and like get involved with, and that, like, for me, I watched it like. I watched it 1 year, and the next year I rewatched it, and the next year I rewatched it.
Oh, cool.
And then each time it would just be like, oh, okay, well, I'm done watching Yu Yu Hakusho. That's what I'd been doing every time I had downtime.
Yeah.
What now?
I know what you mean.
Because it's a perfect length, like as far as how many episodes they have. There's 120 or so 30-minute episodes. What is that, like 60 hours? Ish.
Yeah,
They're
ish,
20
and
minutes
it's
each.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
not really any fillers. There's really no breaks. It's
Okay,
just
yeah.
all
Except for
straight
that 20,
storyline.
15, 20 episode chunk.
Yeah.
It's more like towards the end of it.
That second spirit tournament. That is just.
That was him
yeah.
just trying to wrap it up. As far as like it's like I can't leave him hanging. I think he probably ran out. Know that this is the same guy that created Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
The guy that had his that show, which is very, very popular in the anime community.
Is it called Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter?
Hunter x Hunter?
Okay.
I typically call it just Hunter
Yeah.
Hunter. But yes, Hunter x Hunter, where is it definitely on hiatus right now.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So,
that was the one you showed us
Yes.
where they take those long breaks.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
the same guy. So it's like either he probably got bored or he's just realizing like how do I
Or he's working on something else.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to wrap up the show, because the manga debuted in the 80s and then the anime came out later in the 90s.
Okay. So did you ever? Okay. So no, I don't guess you ever watched this as it was like live.
Nah, it didn't
Okay,
come
yeah.
over here until like what 2000.
Yeah, we were
2?
watching it with dubs. So the subs.
Funimation dubbed it. So,
yeah, Funimation dubbed it. So it had already been out in Japan and probably was like, if not close to wrapping up, it was at least halfway through. Because they weren't going to start on something, unless it's like Dragon Ball Z, which is huge. They're probably not going to start on something like Yu Yu Hakusho and then leave it half done.
Yeah.
The whole thing might have been wrapped up by the time Funimation got their hands on it. Because this is like mid-90s, right?
When it aired over here.
Aired Japan.
Possibly. Well, here's the thing, because like a lot of those old animes, before they even aired on TV, you can go find them at like FYE or something like that back in the day, like on VHS set randomly. Because like it's something that sticks out in my head all the time. When I was a kid, my father, we were watching Dragon Ball Z with him. He was like, I was watching something. It was this pink guy on there. I'm like, what are you talking about, a pink guy?
Majin Buu. Yeah.
No, but he was. But at that time, they were still on Frieza.
Oh,
On
yeah,
Toonami. So we had no idea what he was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, what? This
That's
is the
cool.
only pink character this guy was a part of, like the Frieza Force. This fat guy named Deodora or Deodora, something like that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I was like,
spikes on him, right?
He was like, yeah, he was like, nah, that's not him. I was like, well, what are you talking? Like, you didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, and then it was
Yeah.
like he was talking about Majin Buu the whole time.
That's cool.
So it's like all of this stuff was already over here.
Yeah, the original run was 1990 to 1994.
of
Yu Yu
Hakusho,
The
Hakusho.
anime?
Yep.
Yeah. So like it didn't come over until about like 5,
I could be
6
right. It
years
could be a
later.
manga. I'm sorry.
The manga was definitely 80s because like the way it's stylized is
No, that was the
Completely.
manga.
Well, yeah.
The manga
Oh,
was
really?
90?
Yeah, and
What?
the anime was 92 to 94. So it wrapped up at the
Oh,
same
wow.
time
Huh.
as the
Mm.
manga.
That's rare to my knowledge.
So does it feel dated at all?
The animation style just a bit, but overall, like, not really.
Like
you
references?
enjoy it enough that like you don't even think about it.
Okay.
You're
the
like,
animation
"This is
style is so similar to what I grew up on with Dragon Ball that
Yeah.
it doesn't feel that weird to me.
fun."
Yeah, man, and the new Dragon Balls they're doing is so weirdly animated.
It's like
It's-
definitely rushed and not.
Yeah.
It's
not
because
cleaned
it's
up.
rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. Like there's some of them where like background characters don't have outlines.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that Mass Effect Andromeda.
Dragon Balls never have the best animation though.
So
like,
you like look
I
at
love
it now
that
and
animation style.
That's
Yeah.
all. That for me, I was like, this is all I had, and I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah,
It's like I didn't
yeah.
care. Like I didn't even look back at it now. I'm like, this is not that great.
it's a step above Speed Racer.
It's just like, it is. Yeah, to where it's just
The
like
mouth
it's not
is
just
better.
like a
yeah. What that
stop
mouth
and
do?
pose, where it's just
Yeah.
like no, it's like an actual punch is being thrown. And they go flying. They look like doing.
the Super
Somersaults
Saiyan
in the
power up
air.
noise is so satisfying.
They look.
Oh yeah.
Look, you just do it again. But yeah, man, it's definitely if you grew up on that. Well, if you grew up on Dragon Ball Z, you had to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. Like I don't understand how you didn't know about it, but definitely if you
I
are an
just
anime
know
watcher, if you
no
enjoy
other
it.
anime really stood out to me except for
Gundams?
Dragon Ball Z. No, not
What?
Gundam, not
Gundam
Cowboy,
Wing is on Hulu now too.
not Cowboy Bebop.
G Gundam was
Cowboy
easy for me.
Bebop.
I know
is
it's
one of
great,
the
but I
greatest
never-
things I've ever seen.
Never got into it.
I'm not a huge fan of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I'm fighting.
It's
I've
too
never.
dark for me.
I haven't seen. I've only probably seen like 3 or 4 episodes of it, but I'm fighting for that Keanu Reeves.
It's-
Cowboy
it's
Bebop.
Oh,
never
yeah.
gonna get made.
They want too much money for like
Yeah.
production costs, but like
'Cause
it's definitely
because
he's
that
perfect
show
for
is
it.
so visually inventive and
Mhm.
not too dense because again it's one season that's 23 episodes so
Oh, is that all it was?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Whole
That's
run.
that's
Okay.
perfect for
and
anime.
the
yeah.
movie and the movie is like a side story that isn't like a continuation of
Hmm.
anything. It takes place in between 2 episodes.
What do we have coming up? What are you reviewing next week?
And next week, I'm gonna do a review of My Hero Academy, which is fairly new as far as like anime. It came out about I want to say about 2 years ago, but the manga's been going on for about 3 or 4 years now, and people predicted this being like replacing because around the time when this debuted and started getting popular, Naruto was coming to an end, and Bleach was too. And Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece were considered as like the big 3 as far as like the most popular animes going on right now. And people predicted that as like taking one of those one of their spots.
Okay.
And it looks pretty good.
Is Death Note or One Punch Man coming up soon?
As far as like a review for me,
Yes.
I'll probably save One Punch Man.
Okay.
As far as like try to get out some, not keep following like the action
I could
sequence.
actually talk about that one. I loved.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely I'm going to revisit Prison School and do a
Okay.
review of that one.
No
just,
Death
just
Note?
to change up the tone. Death Note, I'll give it a watch. I'm
Okay,
not
dude,
really so
definitely-
big on it.
definitely
I'll give it a watch.
It's
I'll
one of
give it a
my
watch.
one of my all-time favorite animes.
Yeah.
It is probably top 3 with Dragon Ball Z.
I
and Yu Yu
hear it a
Hakusho.
lot. I definitely reference the when he's just writing along in a book and just killing people. It's
Yeah.
like I'll
Aren't-
take the potato chip and
Aren't they
crunch.
making a live action Death Note?
Yes.
Okay.
they
They've
are.
Yeah.
made one in Japan.
Oh, they did already?
The movie comes out. Yeah, there's 2 live action Death Note movies that
Hmm.
came out in Japan. And then the new one is an American adaptation written and directed by Adam Wingard, who made Your Next and The Guest.
When's it coming
And,
out?
In August on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Good deal. All right,
Watch
guys.
the anime before. It's like the book before
Yeah.
the movie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice. So that's been our show for today. It's May 11th. I'm Sydney Roberts. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SydneyRoberts18.
I'm Tyler Wood. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler W. Wood and on Instagram at Styler Wood. And you can find Prime Nation across all social media platforms, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Libsyn, SoundCloud, iTunes, or eBay at Prime Nation Live.
I'm Jack Nelson. You can find me on Instagram at Nelson Burgers. That's like Wahlburgers, but with my name. And then you can find everything else at cuteboysclub.com.
And it's ER, right?
Mhm.
Instead of UR. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's combining my my middle name and my last name.
Gotcha.
Your last name's Nelson.
It's Essenberg, but turns out nobody knows how to pronounce Essenberg.
Gerard?
Okay. I'm Gerard Fortune. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at ARod.
What's your middle name?
Don't worry about it.
And that
Yeah,
is
so
It's
Yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah.
a long middle name.
It's
Yeah.
EY_Rod,
There
not
you
like
go.
the baseball player.
There you go.
A-Rod,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm Tanner Methvin. You can find me on Twitter at Tanner Methvin and on YouTube at the Sinister Waffles channel.
And we can't forget about Camboy Smith. That is CAMBOISMIF.
That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat across all platforms.
All right,
that
guys.
actually did not even get picked up by the mic. I was looking at the levels. It barely got picked up.
They'll probably be able to
You
hear
got
it.
the lips. We'll
Read
see.
my lips.
I don't know. If they couldn't pick that up, then we don't have to worry about those spells you were casting on everyone. But that's been our show today, guys. We'll be back for one more show this week, Friday, tomorrow, live at 10 a.m. Join us then. In the meantime, check us out on in our podcast format and on YouTube. Thanks for listening. See us tomorrow.